You seem to have warmed up now. You've definitely stopped shivering, and as far as I'm concerned, that's always a good sign. But it might still be a little while before you completely warm up. Well, I'm not surprised that you still feel cold. I would too if I had fallen into that lake. But then again, if I did, I don't think I could fall too deep into it, since I think it's only a few meters deep. Probably just deep enough to make my ankles wet. But still, what possessed you to be traveling in a blizzard? It's not exactly the most ideal weather to be going on a long trip. Not the worst excuse I could have heard, but I still think it would have been wiser for you to have stayed where you are and waited for the blizzard to pass. Unless it was for a life or death situation, it wasn't worth the risk. But still, at least you're here now and not stuck out in the cold. Where is here? Well, you're just outside of Oakport, the place I call home. It's actually quite a nice place to live, if you ask me. There are elves, ogres, lizardmen, and dwarves living here. I've heard that's quite unusual for the rest of the country. Are there any humans? Yes, there are, but only a single human family. They took over the local tavern a few months back and renovated it. I go there quite often, and I always enjoy myself, although I can't exactly go inside. The patriarch of the family does seem to be a bag of nerves at times, but his wife does keep him in line. Their children are really sweet as well, although they get a little overexcited from time to time. They always want me to pick them up for some reason. I guess you're right there. Since I see the world from so high up all the time, I guess I forget that for others, they can't see the same thing. Maybe next time I see them, I'll let them ride on my shoulder for a little while. What's it like being so big? Well, to me, it's not a case of me being big. It's that everything else is so small. But I do have to be careful when I walk into populated areas. But even then, just walking in an open field, I have to be careful. The last thing I want to do is accidentally step on something, or someone. To tell you the truth, I'm still adjusting to my new height. Well, remember how I told you that I recently got taller? Well, I'm still getting used to those extra 30 or so feet. Everything in my house is lower than it was before, and every now and again I go to put on some of my own clothes, only to remember that they're too small for me now. I'm just thankful I didn't become any taller, or else I might find living in a house like this that much more difficult for myself. I don't fancy having to duck to get through the doors of my house, or having to worry about my head touching the ceiling. As I said before, it's a long and very bizarre story. You would probably not believe me, even if I told you. Although by the end of it all, I grew an extra 33 feet, and the horse at the center of it is both smaller and taller than she was before. What do I mean by that? Well, when I was able to give the horse the shrinking potion that the elves had concocted, she went from being larger than a mountain to being small enough to fit in the palm of a human's hand. Yeah, not too long after that, she was used as a test subject for an incomplete growth potion. Her neck and legs grew stupidly long, but the rest of her stayed the same. Like I said, a really bizarre story. But if you want to see her, just go to the potion shop and see for yourself. The elves that run the place keep her as a pet, and although she is definitely the weirdest looking horse you'll ever see, it's definitely better than when she was so huge. Hey, don't do that. You're going to make me... I guess it's getting late now. If I remember correctly, I should have a bed somewhere around here that's suitable for someone of your stature. Why don't you hop into my hand and I'll take you to it? Go on now. I promise I won't drop you. There we go. You don't need to be afraid. You're safe with me. I promise that I won't drop you. Now, where did I put it? Ah, there it is. I knew it was around here somewhere. I'm sorry if it's a little dusty, but it's been a while since I've had a guest stay over. You're very welcome. You just rest as much as you need to. I think I'll be going to bed myself as well. But if you need me, please don't bother me. You heard about what happens when you awaken a sleeping giant. Relax, I'm only kidding. Although, I have to admit that I'm a pretty heavy sleeper. But still, just make yourself comfortable, and I hope that you have a pleasant sleep. Don't forget that I'll only be in the other room, and if you need me for anything, don't hesitate to ask. Say what you want, but that horse is a conversation starter. Like, you don't know what to talk about. You could just be like, hey, did I ever tell you about the time I saw this really fucked up horse? Thank you, Les606, for the coffee donation.